Hey all, welcome back to Somewhere Down the Road. So today in this video we will see and talk about the Hershey town, and we will go in a trolley and explore the Hershey town and how the town was created, what is the history behind that, and how the Milton Hershey created the chocolate factory and some of his early life and how the Lancaster Caramel Company was formed and some history behind it, and also we'll talk a little bit about his personal life and how he gave back to the community. So come travel with me. Here is us traveling, standing in the line to get into the trolley. So the one that you're seeing now is the Hershey Stadium, that's just behind the chocolate factory, and this is the trolley that is awaiting to take us. This is a wooden trolley, as you could see, and the people are on boarded and just we started, and he is our conductor explaining us about the town and the history of Hershey Chocolate Factory. So about his early life, Milton Hershey's early life, he was born on September 13th, 1857 to Henry and Veronica Fanny of Swiss and German descent. His family were members of Pennsylvania's Mennonite community, and he grew up speaking Pennsylvania Dutch. And during this narration, I'll pass here and there to show you the points of interest. And here we are exiting the Hershey Kisses Park. And in April 1862, Hershey's sister Serena Hershey was born in Derry Township, Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, and she died in 1867 at the age of 4. Like many rural young people of the time, Milton was expected to help out on the family farm, and he learned early on the value of hard work and perseverance. Henry Hershey rarely stayed anywhere very long and was prone to leaving his wife and child for long periods. Because of this, Hershey had a very limited education with no schooling beyond fourth grade. And what you're seeing right now is the Hershey Rehabilitation Center that he created for the welfare of that community people in Hershey. And down the same place you will be seeing the first Hershey chocolate factory where the tons of chocolates are produced. In 1871, Milton Hershey left school for good and was apprenticed to a local printer, Sam Ernest, who published a German English newspaper. He did not like that kind of work and he thought it was very boring. One day at work, he accidentally dropped his hat in one of the machines. Because his boss was hot tempered, he fired him shortly after that. And the one that you see right now, the white building, that is where the whole Hershey chocolates are produced the most, 80% of those. Nearly 5 million Hershey Kisses are produced in this building. Hershey's father asked Ernest to take him back, and he did decide to give him a second chance, his boss. But Mattie Snavely, his aunt, and his mother had a different idea. They wanted him to learn the trade of candy making instead. So his mother arranged for the 14-year-old Hershey to be apprenticed to a confectioner named Joseph Royer in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And over the next 4 years, Hershey learned the craft of creating confections. In 1876, he moved to Philadelphia to start his first confectionery business. This is about his early life. And this is the Hershey town as you're looking at. We are crossing through uh, the town. And Hershey returned to Lancaster. It is a small county in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. In 1883, he borrowed money from the bank to start the Lancaster Caramel Company, which quickly became a success for him. He used the caramel recipe he had obtained during his previous travels to make candies. Also, from his previous travels, he learned that caramel sells better in bulk. The first Hershey bars were sold in 1900 and proved so popular that he was able to build his own town of Hershey in Pennsylvania. The one that you're seeing right now, the limestone building in the front, that is the first Hershey's factory back in those days, and today this is used as a administrative building. And also the trolley took us through. I'll explain you a little later on the story on how Hershey created a school for the orphan kids. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Hershey Company soon became the success when a man from England visited Lancaster. He moved Hershey's candies once he tasted them and placed a big order to be delivered to Britain. Hershey was able to pay off his debt and had money left over to buy more ingredients and equipment. By the early 1890s, Lancaster Caramel Company had grown, employing over 1,300 workers in two factories. After a long time of deciding, he took a risk and sold Lancaster Caramel Company for $1 million to start the famous Hershey Chocolate Company. That is how the company was formed. The one that you're seeing right now is the playground of one of the Hershey's public schools in Hershey. And apart from the public school, there is a residential school which he built originally for the orphan kids that we will be talking in a couple minutes. Proceeds from the 1900 sale of the Lancaster Caramel Company, Hershey initially acquired farmland roughly 30 miles, which is 50 kilometers northwest of Lancaster, near his birthplace of Derry Township. There he could obtain the large supply of fresh milk needed to perfect and produce fine milk chocolate. This is one side of the private school that we are traveling through, that we will be talking in a moment here. And the dome that you see there, that's the actual school. Excited by the potential of milk chocolate, which at the time was a luxury product, Hershey was determined to develop a formula for milk chocolate and market and sell it to the American public. Through trial and error, he created his own formula for milk chocolate. The first Hershey bar was produced in 1900. Hershey's Kisses were developed in 1907, and the Hershey's bar with almonds was introduced in 1908. The factory was in the center of a dairy farmland, but with Hershey's support, houses, businesses, churches, and a transportation infrastructure accredited around the plant. Because the land was surrounded by dairy farms, Hershey was able to use fresh milk to mass produce quality milk chocolate. And this is the other side of the private school that we are passing through, which we will talk in a few minutes. 1918, Hershey transferred the majority of his assets, including control of the company, to the Milton Hershey School Trust Fund to benefit the industrial school. The trust fund has a majority of voting shares in the Hershey Company, allowing it to keep control of the company. The school was first created as an orphan school, but later now it exists as a residential school for all kids up to 12th grade. And when the kids are at the school, they're not expected to pay anything for the tuition or dental, their health insurance. Everything is taken care, and the houses on the right are the places where the student stays, and these are huge. They are like houses on steroids. They have everything the students may need. It is like the boys have a separate houses with their own house parents. Each houses has 10 to 12 kids with one married couple as house parents who takes care of them during their entire time at school. So when the children come to the school, come to be enrolled in the school, they are opened a bank account, and they are being given allowances every month. So when they leave the school, when they are graduating and leaving, they are sent out with their accumulation of those funds when they are at there. And this school has everything inside. They have like 5 tennis courts, lacrosse stadiums, and baseball courts, and everything one could ask for, and even a dedicated water park for the school kids during their stay at school. In 1951, the school was renamed as the Milton Hershey School. The Milton Hershey School Trust also has 100% control of Hershey Entertainment and Resorts Company, which owns the Hotel Hershey and Hershey Park. And Hershey took pride in the growth of the school, the town, and his businesses. He placed the quality of his product and the well being of his workers ahead of the profits, and that we could see it very well. Apart from the residential school that we saw, there are a number of other schools like the elementary, Hershey Elementary, middle, and the high school, which are completely separate, but still it's in the same town, and developed by him in his earlier times. So it's evident, very evident. He started the school for the workers of the factory and the entertainment park, and obviously he gave back to the community. The one that you're seeing right now is the Hershey Elementary School, and there is also a Hershey Hospital in the town. Now we are traveling through the Hershey town. Hershey's wife Kitty was a very sick woman, and when they found out they couldn't have children of their own, they decided to build this orphan school where they can give education for a number of kids, and the kids of their factory workers free of cost. What a wonderful thought of them! And in the right in front of you, you can see a number of executive mansions that are built, and these are today used by the executive administrators of the Hershey companies. And some do not have people in it; they just observe as some monument, and they're not open to the public, but still there. And Catherine Hershey became very sick, and on March 25th, 1915, Hershey's wife Catherine died of an unknown disease. And in 1919, Hershey moved his wife Catherine's body from Philadelphia to Hershey Cemetery. And in March 1920, a year after her death, Hershey's mother, Fanny Hershey, died, and she was buried in Hershey Cemetery as well. And we are traveling on our way back to the chocolate factory. It's almost just in 2 minutes we'll reach over there. And this is the golf court for the Hershey people of Hershey Town. This is really a very beautiful little town that we have visited. And if you are out in this northeast side, and definitely it's worth to visit a day. It's a sweet, pleasant town. In World War II, Hershey Chocolate supplied the U.S. Armed Forces with chocolate bars during World War II. These bars were called Ration D bars and tropical chocolate bars. The Ration D bar had very specific requirements from the army. It had to weigh 1 or 2 ounces, which is 28 to 57 gram, and it had to resist melting at temperature higher than 90 degrees, and it had to have an unpleasant enough flavor to prevent the troops from developing craving for them. After a year or two, the army was impressed enough with the durability and success of the ration D bar to commission Hershey to make the tropical chocolate bar. The only difference between them was the tropical chocolate bar was made to taste better than the ration D bar and still be as durable. And tropical chocolate bars were designed not to melt in the tropical weather. It is estimated that between 1940 and 1945, over 3 million of the ration D bars and tropical chocolate bars were produced and distributed to soldiers throughout the world. And Hershey died of pneumonia in Hershey Hospital on October 13, 1945, at the age of 88. Hershey is buried at Hershey Cemetery, a cemetery where his wife and mom was buried, and this was built in Laudermark Road in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We are almost at the end of our trolley tour of the Hershey town, and the one that you're seeing is the administrative office of Hershey's. Alright, if you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channel somewhere down the road. See you in the next. Bye bye.